Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. Verl Workman here from Salt Lake City, Utah, where it just started snowing. And I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to today's call. It's going to be a great call. You know, 2019 was a great year. It was a great year for our clients. It was a great year for our company. It was a great year for the families. And I hope you all had a great year. As we move into the new year, I want to talk a little bit about our theme for 2020. But before we get into 2020, I want to talk about what 2019 meant to all of us. 2019 was our year of leverage. It was the year that we talked about creating leverage in your life and in your business. And we talked about how do you do that. Today's going to be a little bit of a review of the things we talked about that you can add and do in your business to create leverage. And leverage is simply the meaning of it's how you can move more with less effort. How do you accomplish more without working more? How do you sell more how do you earn more without putting more time in? How do you increase the size of your business and grow your wealth without doing it at the expense of your families? And that's what I want to focus on today. Just to make sure everybody knows how to use the toolbar inside of your Zoom meeting, go to where it says questions, and everybody just type me in a hi Verl or Happy New Year, or let me know you're here, because during the call today, I would like to have a little bit of interaction where you can just ask me questions, and I'm going to ask you some things. You can reply back to me. So let's just see if you can all get in here. I want to make sure that you have the ability to get in and ask me questions. Okay, looks like 3 of you have it. So everybody else jump in there. There you go, loud and clear. All right, I hear you as well. So 2020 is the year. So when we're thinking about our theme for 2020, what we do for 2020 vision. I want you to think about 2020 vision. You know, I wear contacts, and I have pretty bad eyes. I have 2 contacts, and one sees far, one sees close. And when I don't have my contacts in, I can't see anything clearly. I can see everything, but it's all a little bit fuzzy. And I was thinking about the year 2020 and what it meant to me, and I thought, you know, if I could just always have my contacts in and always see things perfectly clear, I would never squint or strain. What if it was the same? What if that was the truth for you in your business? What if everything you needed to do every day was so clear that you didn't ever have to wonder or think or strain in order to accomplish something? That's what our theme is for 2020. Our theme is clarity. And my favorite saying when it comes to 2020 is that hindsight is 2020. And that means it's easy to look back at what we've done in the past to make sure we don't make the same mistakes going forward. However, most of us don't actually change our behavior. So as we go through the presentation today, I'm going to talk about how to create leverage in your life and hopefully give you some clarity on what it should look like going forward in your business. Now, there's a couple things I want to talk about today. So at the end of the session, I want you to just go ahead and write down this landing page, workmansuccess.com/create leverage. Take a picture of the slide, because there's a bunch of stuff that I'm going to go through today, including giving you a daily success habits tracker, business plan workbook, which has all been redone for 2020. We have a brand new business plan workbook, our daily huddle agenda on how we huddle with our agents and what we do to build our 7-figure teams, the ability to take up both a DISC and motivators. Now on our website, we used to do free DISC assessments, and that's no longer available for anyone. It was being abused, and there were thousands, 100,000 one month DISC profiles being used, and they're really there for our clients. And so our coaching clients have access to it. But for those of you on this call, by using this link, you'll be able to get access to that special DISC motivators evaluation that I'm going to encourage you to not only do yourself, but also with people you're looking to hire. And then if you'd like to know more about how to work with us as a client, then you can sign up for a business consult. The next thing coming up is, I don't know how many of you are planning on going to this, but our big conference is literally in 2 weeks. It's Leverage 20, and the theme of the conference is called Clarity, and it's all about creating clarity. It's at the World Center Marriott in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be an unbelievable event. Our tickets have been selling at $8.99 all year. We have maybe 30 seats left, and we believe it'll sell out. And so for those of you that haven't registered for Leverage, if you want to put yourself in a room where there's a lot of people who are like-minded that are doing the things that I talk about, and then we're sharing and training, there's going to be a huge group of Workman Success clients. All of our coaches will be there, and a few non-clients that are just trying to figure out if this is the right way for them to go as a team. And so if you really want to know how we're training our people and what's working and what's not working, we're going to be discussing everything from high volume lead generation to taking advantage of opportunities and other people's failures as the market tends to shift a little bit. We're going to be getting into disruptors and how we message to the disruption of the market, take advantage of the things that are out there, and there's going to be a lot of clarity given to you on what to do. If you'd like to participate in the event and you haven't registered yet, now's a great time to jump in and sign up, and I'd love to see you there. So this is just my personal invitation to you to join us at Leverage 2020 in Orlando, Florida. So I'm excited because it's snowing here in Salt Lake and it's sunny in Florida. So if for no other reason, it's a great place to start your year right. I was talking to one of my clients yesterday on a coaching call, and from Washington, D.C., and it's cold in D.C., and we were talking about seeing each other in a couple weeks in Leverage and how excited the team was to go there and get some sunshine. Then after the event ends on Friday, everybody's headed out to Disney, and we're going to have some fun over the weekend. So I hope you'll join us. So one of the biggest things that I talk about when I interview people, and I've had several interviews over the last couple weeks with potential coaching clients, I ask them what it is they want. What is it you're trying to accomplish? What do you want most in your life? And it's really interesting. People will tell you it's one thing, but the more I ask questions, the deeper we go, the more I realize that the one thing that people want isn't always more money. It's, they say I want to earn more money in 2020. I want to sell more houses. And I go, so that's your goal, sell more houses? And so what does that give you? And they say, well, it'll give me more time. And when they say that to me, I say, okay, so tell me about your business. So, well, it's just me, and I do everything myself. So how does selling more houses, when you do everything yourself, give you more time? Here's the problem with real estate. When you're good at the business, and you really are good, then people recognize you're not like every other realtor. And as a result of that, it creates more business. And so more business comes to you. So the better you are, the busier you get. And every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. I don't know how many of you wish you had more than one pair of arms. I look at this picture right here, and it kind of reminds me of the realtor. We have buyer's agent, listing agent, administrative assistant. I'm doing all of the tasks. I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, a wife, a grandpa. I've got all of these things. I'm involved in the church group. So all of these things you try and do, but you only have two arms. And we really need more. And so how do you create leverage? Well, there's two things you need to do. When you are good at the business and more opportunity comes than you can take advantage of, and my guess is the fact that you're on this call, you're probably one of those that's better than average because you're investing in yourself and learning to do better at the business. So when new business comes to you, you have to make a decision. Do I put something down that's more important, like family, to take care of this client, or do I put down the client and let them down to take care of family? And that's a really hard decision that we make. I wrote an article in Riz Media that was published a week or so ago, and there were all these comments that were coming on the article. And I talked about leverage and my experience going into a doctor's office and meeting with the receptionist and then the nurse's assistant or the PA that took me through the process, and then I went through the whole back surgery process. And everybody I met was phenomenal, but there were experts at every area of the process. I met the doctor on the day of surgery. He did my back surgery, and then afterwards, I met with a physical therapist to help me with physical therapy. If the doctor had to do it all, he wouldn't be able to help as many people. And I feel the same way about real estate. I really feel strongly that when you get good at the business, the part that we need agents most in is finding the business, attracting the clients, and then making sure that we provide exceptional client experiences. And that happens by having great systems and process in place or creating leverage. And we do that by building teams. And so the question that I have for many of you is it time to build a team? Is it time to recognize that you can't do it all anymore and you're good at the business and there's more opportunity to take advantage of it? You don't want to set down more important things. And so now it's time for you to build a team. If you already have a team, is it time for you to get your team doing the right things so that we can be more productive and actually accomplish the thing we set out when we started this business? The reason we work isn't to sell more houses. The reason we work is because, I'm trying to make my mouse move here. is because we want to create a better environment or a better life for our children than what we had. And so here we are with this perplexing place in our life where we're trying to decide how to do it all. And so let me just ask you, and use the comment section or the question section. Tell me if you have a team, or you're looking to start a team, or you're not sure what to do next, and you're looking for direction there. I'd like to know, just on this call, with those of you who are here, kind of where you are in your life and in your business. Are you looking to create some leverage? Are you looking to be able to increase your income and decrease the amount of time you actually work? Think about that for just a minute. And I'm seeing all your stuff, so throw them up there. Let's see who you are. I'm on a team. I'm part of a team. Love that. For those of you that are on a team, congratulations. Okay, Jason says he's building a team. I like that. There's a bunch more people on this call, part of a team. Excellent. Starting a team in 2020. Love that, Susan. I have a team and I'm working on building a better team. I love that. I had a team and I went back to do it, decided whether to use virtuals or not. You know, Lou, that's a great question. Save that question for later, and I'll see if I can help you with that, because there's definitely some things you can do with virtual assistants. 4-person team. All right, I love that. A lot of people thinking about building a team. Don says, I am a team of one, and Don, I'll bet you're good at it. So, you know, nobody should tell anybody else what kind of business they should own, and so that's not the position I'm taking today. I'm just going to ask you to ask the questions, kind of the internal things, like, you know, what if somebody else ran all my errands for me? Or what would it be like if I didn't do any paperwork, where when I got somebody under contract, I could just turn it over to someone and they took a contract to close and they actually did a better job of it than me? What would my life look like if somebody else were answering phone calls, or I had other people doing my open houses? What would my life look like if I had some help? And there's all kinds of ways to accomplish that. It's not just one thing. And so let me define to you, just give you what my description of a team is. I think that whether you believe it or not, we're all on teams. That means that we have other people in our careers, in our business, that help us when we need them. So for example, I rely heavily upon my lender and my title partner. And even though they're not part of my team, you know, when I'm having someone go through the qualification process, I've set them up to make sure they're communicating with my client and with me on everything financial, so I don't have to. And so I've created leverage by utilizing my lender partner as part of my team. I don't think of them as a vendor. I think of them as a partner. Same thing with my title partner or my attorney. You know, I want to make sure that they have direct access to the client, that they're talking, that they're representing the way that we do business, and that everything's being handled correctly. When we think about teams, that's a basic team, is that's using other people to create leverage. Other people have offices where they have agents that aren't as busy as they are, that when they need to take a vacation, another agent will step in and take their calls. Or if they need someone to show houses, they can pay someone to go show houses. So there's lots of ways to create leverage when your life gets really busy, and then when it slows down, you don't need those extra people. It's okay to not define your team as a mega team or a bunch of agents. I want you to think of what would make the biggest difference for you in 2020 if you didn't have to do this certain amount of tasks or a block of work. Where would you spend your time instead of doing the activities? And so I want you to think about that just for a second. So if I had someone that could take off the things off my plate that weren't directly related to making money, what would I do with the extra time? So if I asked you how much time you spend doing non-dollar productive activities, meaning processing contracts, scheduling appointments, following up with people, how much of your day would you say you spend doing those activities that aren't actually generating any new business? That'd be an interesting question to see what you think on that. Jason says, my wife wanted me to clarify, we're building a team and she's on it. So smart man, Jason, you got to lead with that. Not only is she on the team, she's in charge of it, and that'll just make your life a lot better. All right, so we think about what we would do with our time. Now, you're not typing your responses in, so what would you do? I want you to really think about it, because you won't make changes and you won't make the adjustments in your business unless you recognize the value of making those changes. And so what would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? Like, what would you do with an extra 20 hours a week? Dawn's like the A student in the corner. She's like, oh, I'd prospect more. So I love that, but I doubt it. I mean, I think you'd want to prospect more, but I mean, maybe you get your nails done, or maybe you go spend more time with your spouse. Maybe you take 10 of those hours and prospect intensely, and 10 hours to just do something personal that you haven't done in a long time. Maybe we go to the gym. I don't know. I want you to think about what would you do with that extra time? Yeah, Jason says, spend more time with my kids. I love that. Spend more time with family. So the reason that we create leverage, or the reason that we think about doing something different, is because we want more time. Susan, I love that you hired a housekeeper. I love that. And so instead of washing the clothes and vacuuming and mopping and doing all the dishes, you've got somebody else coming in and doing it. You can spend your time with your family. One of the greatest gifts I ever gave my wife for Christmas one year is I gave her a home cook. And that's someone that comes to our house 4 days a week and makes dinner. And it just changed her life. It made her so much happier. So we have someone that cleans the house. I have someone that cooks for her. And my thought process was that I had someone that mowed my lawn, but she didn't have anybody that helped her with the things that she didn't really love to do. And not only does she not like cooking, she hates it. The only thing she hates worse than cooking is shopping for the food. And so that little thing of choosing to delegate it allowed us to have more clarity and more free time, and it made the relationship better. So if you're going to create leverage and you want to pick up 20 additional hours a week to do whatever it is you want to focus on, it's going to require you to do something different. And that is, you have to understand how to specialize in this business and what your role as the leader is in specialization. Your job as the leader of your business, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3, is business development and people development. Now I want you to think about that for a second. Business development, that means looking for new business, and people development, that means honing your skills or the skills of the people that work with you so they can be better at the business than anybody else. So I want you to think about this concept for just a minute, and this is why we really think about teams. So the average realtor, according to NAR, does about 7 transactions a year. I actually think it went down this year. So let's just say the average realtor does 7 transactions. Can you be an expert at anything if you only do it 7 times? I mean, are you really a master at everything when you do it 7 times? I mean, you're average. You're below average. But as a buyer's agent, if you're a specialist in working with buyers and all you do is show properties, that means that you work with 30 buyers a year, 40 buyers a year. You open, 10 times that in houses. You go through 300 homes. That means you negotiate contracts and you understand what it takes to get a contract approved in a multiple offer situation. When you do it 30 times, you're just better at it than someone who does it 7. And when you become a specialist at that area of the business, you're able to accomplish more with less effort. Because once you get it under contract, you give it to the client care coordinator, who then takes a contract to close. As a listing partner, and most of our team leaders focus on listings, if your focus is listings, then your job is to prospect and go on listing appointments. But if you took everything else off your table and that's all you did, is it possible your business would grow? Think about that. If all you did is prospect for listings and go on listing appointments, and once you got it listed, you gave it to the team, and they did everything else until offers come in, then you get back involved during the negotiation, do you think your business would grow? I mean, what if you went on 4 listing appointments a week and you listed 2 properties a week or 8 a month? And then all of the buyers that got generated, they got to work with a buyer specialist who is better at the business because all they do is work with buyers. What happens when you specialize is you just get better, and there's no substitute for experience. The last thing is your client care side of the business. Like I still, in my, it blows my mind sometimes that agents today still believe that they cannot hire an assistant because nobody can do it as good as them. I've got to tell you, I have a whole bunch of team members in my office. I won't even call them assistants. They all assist in different areas of the business, doing things that they're specialists at. And as a result, our clients get better served. If I had to serve them all, I couldn't do a good job. First of all, I don't really like that side of the business. I'm not good at it. I don't pay attention to the details. So I've got to have other people that are really good at it, providing that level of service to my clients. Both in real estate and in our coaching company, it's the same thing. And so when you have someone who's really good at client care, and their job is to do everything they can to make sure every client is happy, and the way we measure success is by raving fans, referrals, and reviews. Ooh, I wrote that. Raving fans, referrals, and reviews. If we measure those three things, then we'll have the ability to know that our client care team is doing a great job. And so creating specialization makes a difference. And so when we specialize, you have to realize that if you understand some key core numbers in your business, that you'll have clarity on who to hire and when to hire. So the first hire I'm going to tell you is a client care coordinator. You need someone helping you with the stuff, and you can use a virtual assistant, or you can use somebody in the office that's not as busy as they should be, as they could be, and so you share somebody else's assistant. You don't have to commit to a long-term $50,000 a year salary. Just think of it as, I need someone to help me, and so start looking at the resources creatively that are around you until you can afford to have an assistant full-time. Here's some of the key things that I'd like you to know about your business. I want you to, if you've been on webinars with me before, I've shared these numbers with you, but I'm going to review them again because I think they're really important that everybody understands them. The first one is that every time you list a property, each listing should generate 6 to 8 buyer leads a month. For every listing you get, when you work it correctly, you should close 1.5 buy-side transactions. For every 25 leads you generate, you need a dedicated agent working those leads. So for every 25 leads, so let me give you the scenario. So if you focused on listings, for every listing you get, it gives you 2.5 closings, right? So one listing equals 2.5 transactions. If your goal in 2020 is to do 20 transactions, I want you to make your goal be 100% focused on listings. Think about that. Unless you're a buyer's agent on one of our teams, then I want you to do your goal on buyers. If your goal is to do 20 transactions, what would happen if I told you you had to get 100% of your goal working with listings? And then I want you to put yourself out of working with buyers. You know, we as team leaders, I believe that our job is to develop our buyer's agents so they become so good that they can do buyers, and then we train them as listing partners, and then we create an environment for them to be able to grow within our team. If you've got a buyer agent or a listing partner that's doing 70 or 80 transactions, they're going to be capped, and you want to create an opportunity for them to be able to grow. And so I want you to think about structure and what that looks like and how you help people get to the point where your greatest accomplishment is helping them build their own team within your team. And so you'll get a smaller piece of a bigger pie. I want you to think about that. All right, so we delegate to buyers agents or showing assistants. You have to eliminate buyers from your life. And then the next thing is you've got to build your business plan that breaks down the activities you need in order to be able to get to the level of business you want. Our 2020 business plan is different than it's been in the past. It gives you a lot more clarity. I'm not going to go through it on this call today. Maybe on one of our future webinars I can go through and really teach you the business plan. Or if you have access to our training center, there's a whole session in Buyer Agent Mastery on business plans. I encourage you to go through it there. Okay, the next thing I want you to think about is I want you to think about what business looks like. If you're going to have a team, and it doesn't matter if it's a husband-wife team, or it's a team of your partners, or it's a team of a buyer's agent and an assistant, if you want to be successful running a team, you first have to think about how we eliminate dysfunction in our team. And how do we the way we eliminate dysfunction is I encourage you to go and read the book or listen to it on Audible by Patrick Lencioni. It's called The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And Patrick Lencioni broke down the 5 reasons teams fail. And in our coaching program, we've woven the 5 dysfunctions into our content and the way we coach to eliminate dysfunction. The 5 dysfunctions are absence of trust. They don't trust each other. They don't trust the process. They don't trust the system. They don't trust the client. I don't trust my buyer's agent enough to give them the big, really good clients. And the way we eliminate trust is by creating a culture of productivity and by providing phenomenal training. Fear of conflict means that we talk about each other behind each other's backs instead of dealing with problems. If we attack process and not people, conflict becomes a healthy part of a team. Because if we're always looking for ways of doing things better. So I want you to think about this. We don't have people problems, we have process problems. So instead of attacking people, attack process and ask yourself the questions, how do I get my process better so that we don't have this issue or problem going forward? Lack of commitment is huge. When you have somebody who's on your team who's not committed to the outcome, they're not committed to the results, they're not committed to the systems that we're running, then it makes it very difficult to have success. And so we have to build a set of core values, and we have to be committed to those core values, and then we run our business and our life in accordance with those core values. Avoidance of accountability. Accountability is the most important decision you'll ever make as a leader. I want you to pause on that for a minute. Choosing accountability is the most important decision you'll ever make as a leader. Accountability is not something I can do to you. It's not something I should do to you. It's not something I want to do to you. As a matter of fact, I look at Susan. Susan's been commenting on here. She just hired her housekeeper. Susan, can I make you do anything that I don't want you to do, that you don't want to do? Like if you don't want to do it, can I make you do it? She says, nope, with an exclamation point. The answer is no way. I can't make you do anything. So you have to choose accountability. You have to decide that today in your life, you're finally at a place where you're willing to be open to suggestion, where somebody else can look at your business from a different perspective and then give you the ideas and the thoughts and the questions that will help you come to the right solutions to help your business grow. So for me, coaching isn't beating you over the head with accountability, but it's creating an environment where you choose accountability, you make the decisions of the things you're going to do, and then I ask you if you did it. And when you do it, you're being honest with yourself. It's living with integrity. So accountability to me is living with integrity. I want you to think about that. So if you don't like to be held accountable, that means you don't like integrity. I got to think about that for a second, because accountability just means that you're willing to do what you say you're going to do, even if the promise is one you've made to yourself. All right, the last dysfunction is inattention to results, and that's not tracking the right things. And so you've got to have systems and tracking to be able to track everything going on in your business, and it's important that you track the right things. I should be able to look at your business by quarter and see if you're on track, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, where you should be year over year. And I should be able to look at your daily success habits and all the activities that get the results we want. When I go into one of my clients' trackers, I look at their commission quarters by their gross closed commission, and I look at 2014, I look at 2015, I look at 2016, and I look at where I'm trending. In order to have a better year in 2019 than we did in 2018, we had to do some very specific things. By the way, this is not an updated screenshot. Our 2019 doesn't have fourth quarter in there. This team ended over $3 million in gross closed income. And so their 2019 ended at over $3 million in GCI for the first time ever, and $1 million net. So when you look at the quarter by quarter, I'm able to make adjustments because I'm tracking the right things, and I encourage you all to do the same things. If anybody would like to have that kind of growth in your business, this was a single mom with 2 kids that just wanted to move from $250,000 to $500,000 in gross closed income in a year, and now she's doing that in quarters and in months. So it's really cool to see that growth. When I survey my top clients and I ask them how they go from $250,000 to $2 million, I ask them, what are the keys that created your success? What are the keys or the critical things that you did? And the first thing they will all tell you is getting help. I had to get help. I had to get the right people doing the right things, and it started with the right admin. And so I'm going to tell you consistently across the board, when you talk to high performers, they'll tell you that they had to get an admin before they could go to their next level. The second thing is they'll tell you they had to follow their coaching advice, and that was the proven systems. Like, if we've tried something and it didn't work, we're not going to coach you to do it. But if we've tried something with 300 people and we're getting success with 250 of them, there's a high likelihood you'll get success with it as well. So I encourage you to follow proven systems. and make sure you have systems for everything, including your business plan with 4 pillars, the lead tracker, your CRM on steroids, and of course, automating your transaction process. The third thing was hiring and training the agents to be exceptional in the business. And we use a program called Buyer Agent Mastery, Admin Mastery, and Listing Agent Mastery, BAM, AMP, and SLAM. And so training your people in the same system. And it's not that my system's better than anybody's. I want you to think about this. It's that I have one. And so you do all these things in your business, you do them well, but you haven't created video training on everything you do. So what we've done is we've taken rock stars in the business in every aspect, buyers, agents, listing agents, and admin, and we've created training based on best practices of our high-performing clients. I want you to think about that. So you can plug your people into a system that we're all running, and they just keep running it. So if you have turnover, you bring the new people in, you put them in the system, and we're all running the same system. So instead of recreating everything, you're able to plug in and borrow the wisdom of our crowd to have great training for your agents. The next thing is to focus on growing your listing inventory. And I talked about that earlier, but really 100% growing your listing inventory. The next thing to be successful is, everybody talks about their gross closed income or their gross income. I like to talk about the net profit. And in order to be profitable, you have to create the right compensation plan for profitability. And that includes how you pay yourself. So the way you pay yourself, the way you pay your buyer's agents, listing partners, and admin all matter, because your job as the leader is to create stability and security for the people on your team. What that means is, your job is not to go out there and just sell a bunch of houses. Your job is to be profitable. And if you overcompensate or you overpay people and you spend too much money on marketing or you take too much out of the business, there's no stability or security in your company. When I started Workman Success Systems, one of my first goals was to make sure I always had 6 months of operating capital in the bank. So if everything stopped, we have 6 months to be able to readjust and change our business and still have the ability to pay all of our people and to pay all of our bills and not have stress. As the company's gotten bigger and the overhead's gotten larger, we put more and more money away every single month to make sure that we have stability and security. Because if there's no stability and security in your company, the minute something happens that changes your ability to earn, it creates stress and anxiety for the people that work for you. And I want you to have stability and security, so you've got to pay people correctly. I'll go over that in just a minute. All right, number 6 is you've got to provide a higher level of client care, and you have to get a lot of online reviews. So much business today is done by reviews. If you're not getting great reviews, then you're missing something in your business. You should have a strategic plan to get amazing client reviews, and you do that by creating amazing client experiences, but it can't be accidental. It has to be intentional. We include things like doing appreciation events throughout the year. We do 4 of them minimum a year. And so we have all these proven systems and strategies for getting your people together. Do client appreciation events every single year. Make sure that your clients know that you appreciate them, and as you do that, you become more connected to them and then think about you more. So when real estate comes up in a conversation or general meeting, they think of you first, and that's how you get your business. Number 8 is you need to have and be clear on when it's the right time to turn on high volume lead generation. A lot of people do this in the wrong order. They'll go out and they'll spend $5,000 a month with Zillow, and they don't have any buyer's agents. And so what happens is you spend all this money, and you get people that are making that are all these leads coming in, and you don't have the bandwidth to follow up with them all. And so you end up with a low percentage, and you don't get invited into Zillow's exclusive programs for the agents who actually convert. And so you've got to have a strategy first before you turn on the high volume lead generation, and your coach can help you with that. Number 9 is you need to create a culture of productivity, and that is flat out, you have to decide in advance that you're going to really help your people. You're going to come in every morning and you're going to do a daily huddle, and you're going to see how their night was, what they did previously, what their goals are for the day. You're going to role play as a team, and you're going to practice scripts and dialogue so that any scenario that comes up, you know they're going to answer it correctly in a way that generates and creates more business. And then, of course, the last thing is you've got to teach them how to hunt, and that we prospect every day for a minimum of 1 hour as a team. If you'll do this, if you'll create a culture of productivity, whether you're a team of 1 or a team of 3 or a team of 5, and you'll do a daily huddle every day, you'll practice scripts and dialogues for 30 minutes, and you'll prospect for an hour, I promise you, your 2020 will be the best year you've ever had because you consistently do the right things every single day. But when you eliminate any one of those 3 things, you'll end up having the same results you've always had. Last but not least, I'm just going to tell you that you have to be willing to let it go. You know, the self-talk that we say, the things that we say all the time is, oh, I could never delegate. If I have to let it go, that means that, it's just easier for me to do it myself than it is to train somebody. You've got to stop holding on to that precious thing that is going to eventually destroy you. When I think of Gollum, I think about The Lord of the Rings. It was just on the other night. And Gollum was going through with the Hobbit, and they were trying to get to the top of the mountain where he could throw the ring into the fire. And Gollum was looking around, and he's like, where is it? I've lost it. It's my precious. I can't find it. And it was driving him crazy. And the Hobbit slipped the ring on his finger, and he disappeared. That thing that makes you disappear, that thing that you slip on your finger when you just do it yourself, alerts the rest of the world, the orcs, that you put the ring on, and then they send all the troops in to destroy you. And so when you try and do it all yourself, what happens is it really, when you do it all yourself, it will eventually be the thing internally that destroys you or your families. And so you've got to learn to let it go. And so let's just let it go. Can we say let it go as a group? Out loud, say it out loud. I'm going to let it go in 2020. I'm going to let it go. And what are you going to let go? Just tell me what you're going to let go in 2020. You're going to let go of my administrative tasks. I'm going to let go of buyers. I'm going to let go of mowing my own lawn. I'm going to let go of doing my own laundry. What are you going to let go of in 2020? Come on, let's write it down. I want to see what you're going to let go of. It's time to make some commitments here on this call. No more talking about stuff. What are you really willing to let go of? What are the things that's hard for you to let go of, but you know if you did, you would be better as a result? Okay, I'm looking. I'm going to let go of some of the admin work. Dawn, let go of all of it. Change the way you say that. I'm going to stop being an admin. I'm going to let go of 20 pounds. I love that, David. Me too. I'm with you on that. Let's let go of 20 pounds. I'm going to let go of my administrative tasks. Love that. Nobody else going to let go of anything? Come on, I got a bunch of people on this call. Y'all going to hold on to it really tight? Look at the picture on the screen. You really want to hang on to it? Look what it did to Gollum. Let it go. You can delegate everything except your spouse. Because that's a bad thing. The occasional buyer. Josh. There you go. Josh, let go all the buyers. Love it. All right, now we've got some. All right, so how do we do that? We've built some systems. The first thing you got to do is you've got to make a decision to hire, and you need to follow the process in hiring. Tim, here's my high five to you. Letting go of all the buyers. Your buyer's agents will appreciate, and that's why they joined you. And so I want you to follow the hiring process checklist. How do we hire? We hire by following a system. We use the right buyer agent agreements, and then when you onboard someone, I want you to follow the onboarding process. And so when I share this with you, I'm looking at your comments because they're still coming in. When you hire someone following the process, and then it becomes time to onboard them, you need to develop your onboarding process. Now, this onboarding process is in a system that we teach called Agile Project Management. And inside of Agile, that's where we create our projects. So as a coaching client, let me give you an example. If I were coaching you and you were in the growth phase, it was time to create agent onboarding, I would take this Agile that's been created for another client, and we would put it in your Agile, in your sprint, so that you could launch it. And so you need to build systems for everything. So as you hire, you need to have systems for prospecting, systems for hiring, systems for onboarding, systems for making sure everybody does the right thing. You put everybody through the same process. When you're hiring a client care coordinator or a buyer's agent, you want to put the right person with the right profile in that role. So let me give you an example. This is a decent team leader profile. We have lots of D team leaders. Let me show you a client care coordinator. So a client care coordinator is going to be, I'm looking for my hang on. I don't have it, dang, sorry. My client care coordinator would look like this, except the C would be really high and the S would be really high. A client care coordinator would be high on the regulatory motivators and high and balanced in the theoretical. This is actually a good profile for a buyer's agent as well. If you're looking at my screen right here, if I was going to hire a buyer's agent, I want someone who's a good eye, that's interactive and loves the people. And look at the motivators. DISC is the red, yellow, green, and blue on the left. The motivators is the green, blue, orange, red, yellow, black, and brown. The economic motivator for this agent means that they are highly motivated and driven by the economic outcome of their efforts. When anybody is outside those gray boxes, we ask lots of questions during the interview process to find out why. So something's happened in their life that causes them to never want to be poor again, or they've got a lot of expenses, or they have a big family, or there's things that are going on that make them really highly motivated financially. I can take someone who's highly motivated financially like this, that has a high D, driven and wants to get out there, they just don't know what to do, and give them the systems and the tools and the process, and they go do it, and they have a great result. They have a great success as a result of it. So understand DISC motivators. Do everything you can to read those. If you've taken your own, read through it, go through it again, and remember to focus on your strength and hire people that are best suited for that position. A client care coordinator, we've talked about that enough. The reason most of us don't hire client care coordinators is because we don't think we can afford them. But I promise you, if you bring your client care coordinator in and you give 20, you do 50% of the time that you were spending doing admin stuff to training, and the other 50% of the time you spent doing admin stuff to prospecting, you'll never go back to not having an assistant. You will always have an assistant in your life. And then get them in. Get them into the Admin Mastery Program. There's 66 sessions on everything from creating your operations manual, setting up your lead trackers, setting up your transaction trackers, all of the trackers, all of the systems, the operations manual outline, all of that is built into AMP. And just by going through the program, you have access to it. This is the training center right here. That's all of the programs that are there. You can see it, marketing and advertising leverage. Look here at the Admin Mastery Program. These are some examples of some of the systems you'll get there and some of the trainers we have going in there. It is chock full of content. If you had 10 grand and you wanted to go out and buy a business in a box and you could get everything in AMP for that 10 grand, it would be money well spent. But it doesn't cost 10 grand. It's included with all of our coaching, or you can go online and subscribe to it for a couple $100 a month. That's the Admin Mastery Program. The Buyer Agent Mastery Program has the new 2020 business workbook in it. It has the new revised 8651 ebook with a bunch of new tasks in there. And it's 16 self-paced videos for creating excellence as a buyer's agent. The goal with AMP is to get you to 2 transactions a month. And so a buyer's agent doing anything less than 2 transactions a month, when they go through BAM, if they follow the systems there, it'll get them to 2. And our goal is to really get you to between 3 and 5 transactions a month as a buyer's agent. We want you to do between 36 and 60 deals every single month as a buyer's agent, and all of the tools and all of the resources and all of the content for training those agents are inside of BAM. Now, the Listing Agent Mastery Program, or the SLAM program, is all about, I want you to think about how we built this. The way we built this is we went to agents who were listing more than 200 and 300 houses a year, and we said, share with us all your best practices. What do you do in a listing appointment? How do you do your open houses? How do we turn one listing into several more listings? What do you do in the pre-listing process? How do you find listings when there's lack of inventory out there? We took all of that information and we put it into the Listing Agent Mastery Program, and then we showed them how to do it. I did a webinar just with Riz Media just last week with two of my top agents. Bob Sokoler was one of them, and he shared with us all the things they do to find and to generate new listings. If you'd like a copy of that webinar, a copy of that link, just put it in the message bar here that you'd like a copy of that webinar, because it's a full hour on just how to market and get more listings. And if you missed it, it was phenomenal. One of the better webinars that we've had. And so just request it, and then I'll have one of our client care staff send that webinar to you, because I want to send you more. I want to give you all the information you want. Just a lot of great information in there. Okay, here's a good DISC motivators for a buyer's agent. They got a good high C, enough that they're going to do decent paperwork. They've got a great eye. People love them. Highly economic motivated. They're a rule follower, which is I love on 65. They're going to do what I tell them to do. This is actually the profile of a buyer's agent that I would hire. I don't hire and fire directly related to DISC, but it was one that I would definitely bring in to interview, and I would do everything I can to move them forward in the process. When we bring a buyer's agent in, how do we compensate them? And there's a lot of compensation plans that are all over the board. I want to share this with you because I think it's really important that you have profitability. And so a team leader, and for my team members that are on this, I want you to see this because it's important you understand what I'm teaching the team leaders, and that is that a team leader needs to be profitable. And the way they get profitable is by making you profitable. I want my team members to make a lot of money. Matter of fact, I want my team members to make a minimum of $100,000 a year. So buyers agents, listing partners, they should make $150,000, $200,000 as an agent on these splits. A buyer agent, I pay $40.60 on the first 2 transactions in a month, $45.55 on the second 2, and then $50.55 plus. A listing partner, I pay 25% to. So here's how the numbers works out. I want you to see what works out for the buyer's agent. So if you did 36 listings, that means you generated $324,000 focusing on listings. 10 listings generate 60 to 80 leads per month. That means you need 3 buyer's agents, and you'll end with each one of them doing 2. That's 2 sides. So your buyer's agent split on the first 2 transactions is $3,600. That means they're making $7,200 a month consistently. That's $86,000 a year, and that's just meeting the minimum level of performance on a 40-60 split. On their second 2, they go to 45 and they make even more. So when you train your agents correctly and you have your program, this is how you double and grow your business. Is you put the people on the right programs, you understand your numbers, and then you plan accordingly. I always have more content than I have time to share with you. The next thing I share with you is that you've got to start being intentional about where you spend your time. Right now, most agents get up every day and they run around like chickens with their heads cut off. They run around and they do whatever comes up. They prospect, they follow up with the lead. If somebody calls, they take care of it. They got a closing, and they run around. They don't have any intention to their day. And so we created inside of BAM, and you can get this, I think this is one of my giveaways, is a My Perfect Week Scheduler. And this is a Google Drive that allows you to go in and time block what it is you want to do this week. And so at the beginning of the week, I encourage all of my clients to do what's called a quiet hour. And they spend 1 hour just thinking about it and focusing on the most important things they would need to get done this week, and they block them out in their Perfect Week Scheduler. And then they put in their scheduling time, their prospecting time, their lead follow-up time, when they're going to show clients, when they're going to do their videos. And so we put all the things around it, so every day is a productive day and a good day. So we think in advance of what we want to do, and we design our perfect week, and then using the Daily Success Habits Tracker, we then track what we actually do every day in 30-minute increments. And we focus on things that generate revenue. So the Daily Success Habits Tracker is designed to teach every agent they need to get 61 points a day doing dollar productive activities. You've got to do things that move the needle, dollar productive activities every single day. And so if you get your 61 points a day, we know that every 257 points, you should have a closing. So if you don't cheat on how you're getting your points and you focus on dollar productive activities, you can work backwards into what you want to make and just do the activities that will get you the result that you need. So think about that. We talked about scheduling in advance, tracking what you do, comparing it with what you said you were going to do, and that creates an environment of accountability. So now you have the ability to hold yourself accountable because you love yourself. And because you love who you are, and you have integrity with yourself, and you love your families, you're willing to hold yourself accountable to fulfill the commitments that you make. The reason we don't hold ourselves accountable is because of self-esteem. We don't feel good, and we have excuses for failure, and because we want to wallow in our mediocrity, we choose to not hold ourselves accountable and live a life that lacks integrity. To me, that sounds painful. It sounds powerful and painful. Okay, This is our daily huddle schedule, and I think that when you start bringing partners in, you start recognizing that you've got other people you've got to develop. And so what I do is we've created a daily huddle agenda. It's a 15-minute huddle of what you go over during your 15-minute huddle. Questions that you ask, the mindset for the huddle, things that you want to go over. I'm going to give this to you so you can just download that and use that, and I encourage you to do it. A listing partner is someone that you would add. Now, most of our team leaders are the listing partner. You don't have to worry about hiring a listing partner. But there comes a time in your business where business is going really well and you've got a lot of buyer's agents and you want to reduce the number of paid leads that you're getting. The way to reduce the number of buying leads is to list more houses, because listings are the best lead generators. And so we focus more on listings. You hire a listing partner. When we hire a listing partner, we pay them between 20 and 25% commission. And they go through the entire, and this is the listing agreement that we use, and their job description. It's actually a 10-page document. Another great way to create leverage in your business is to make sure that you have the ability to handle the business that comes in. So if you've got lots of buyers coming in and you've got 4 of them that want to see this houses on Saturday, you can only show 1 of them at a time. What we like to do is we've created a showing assistant agreement and a program. Showing assistant doesn't necessarily have to be somebody on your team. It could be somebody you're looking at hiring. It could be somebody in your brokerage or your office that has some time. I pay my showing assistants $25 an hour. I cap them at 20 hours, so my maximum exposure on a closing is $500, and they agree that they'll continue to work with that client showing houses until they write. And so if they can't get them under contract in 20 hours, that means we haven't done a good job qualifying. We're not really listening to what they want, or they're not realistic buyers. And so we've created a program that allows us to have leverage without building a big team, and that's a simple showing assistant. You could be an individual agent with a virtual assistant and just use showing assistant to show properties, and you go out and do contracts, and you could double or quadruple your business. So there's no right way to build a team, and I want to reemphasize that. It's tell me what you want, and let us help you figure out the strategy that will get that for you so that you can have the life that you desire. Another role that we see a lot of our teams hiring right now is because of high volume lead generation, companies like Boomtown and Commissions Inc., who are 2 of our great partners. When you buy onto a high volume lead generation system, what happens is it creates more opportunities and your agents won't follow up. And when you have a lot of those opportunities, you've got to hire someone, or you can outsource it, that does inside sales. And they are your lead conversion engine. They're the ones that follow up, send emails, talk to people, do everything except do real estate. And then when a client asks a real estate questions, they do live transfers to the agents. Their job is to set appointments for the agents. And so the inside sales role has become a very powerful role in a lot of our teams as we've been growing and growing with the high volume lead generation. The key to you is that you've really got to create a culture. And I call it, when I look at businesses and I look at everybody's team, everybody has a culture. And I want you to make a decision right now for 2020 that you want to create a winning culture, a culture of productivity, where people collaborate, they have each other's backs, they're fun. And you know what's fun is they're prospecting and making money and doing deals and giving back to the community. Create your culture, decide what you want it to be, write it down, and then every time you get together with your agents, share with them what that culture is you're trying to build. It has to be intentional, not accidental. And then I want you to build a set of core values. You know, your core values in your business are the guideposts that keep you on track. And so build and create your set of core values. These are my core values. So in Workman Success Systems, we have a huge wall, and they look just like it on this wall. It says, choose to be happy, communicate openly and honestly, have and share vision, integrity always, live with passion, get up and just go for it, live freely, and to me that means debt-free, be grateful, show gratitude, gratitude to your clients, gratitude to your team members, gratitude to client care, gratitude to people working your open houses, gratitude for somebody bringing you lunch, be grateful. And last but not least in my core values, right out of Og Mandino's 10 Scrolls, is we persist until we succeed. When something challenges us, we just don't quit, we figure it out. And those are the values that I want to instill in our team members to help make them happy and make this a great place to work. So think about your core values and whether or not you've intentionally created them sorry, I got a frog in my throat, to create the culture that you want. I believe that there is a very, very thin line that separates the exceptional from the average. And 2020 is your goal to step above the line from being average to being exceptional. It may mean it's time to get leverage. It may mean it's time to get a coach. It might mean it's time to get an assistant. If you have a team and you're trying to improve them, or if you're thinking about starting or building a team, then talk to one of my business consultants before you do it. Let us help you in the process, because it's all we do and we're really good at it. We help people get better at this business. And while I want you to think about your questions, I'm going to play this little quick video on leverage. Awesome. How do you not want to go to that? It's going to be an exciting time. Several of you have asked for the listing webinar that I told you I would post for you. What I'll do is I'm going to ask my team to make that available in the downloads. So we'll put a link to that in the downloads for today. And so when you go to this landing page and you download, it's this landing page right here. When you download today's copy of today's webinar, the free giveaways that I've got for you, I'll include a link to that webinar on growing your listing inventory, so you all have access to that. If I have something and it would make a difference in your business or your life, and it's something that I shared or showed, just ask me for it. Say, Verl, can I have a copy of that, or is there something you can share? And I'll do my best to share it. I want to encourage you to do something different in 2020. Get some help. Let someone look at you from a different perspective and really get in and help coach you. And we'd love to be considered for that. Okay, so I've got about 2 minutes that I can answer any questions that you might have about creating leverage in your business or life, or building your team, or something that's challenging you. So any questions that you have, just jump in. I'll do my best. Okay, if you ask for the listing webinar, you're going to get that on the downloads. So on the download page you see on your screen. Okay, also on this screen right here, if you send an email to consult@workmansuccess.com, one of our business consultants will follow up with you and schedule a time to talk. Thanks for asking about that. We'll also give you a link to this webinar. You can replay it as well. Are y'all ready for a phenomenal 2020? Are you ready to knock it out of the park? Well, I'm ready to do it with you. So buckle up and get ready. I'm going to leave you with a parting thought. You know, my dad was a tough guy. He was awesome. And he used to make me memorize things. I had to memorize a book before he would let me buy a baseball bat. And he made me memorize another book or read another book before he would let me put me on a team. And I remember my first time I went out to play baseball, and I was batting 11th. And I thought it was no big deal. I thought it was because my name was Verl Workman. I figured they must have done it alphabetically. And so I'm watching him go through the batting order, and all of a sudden it gets to the end, and it gets all the way down to number 10, and they start over at number 1 again. And I'm like, what? Wait. Am I not going to get a bat? Well, only the kids, the top 10, got to go in and play. And I wasn't one of them. And they went through 1 through 10, 1 through 10, 1 through 10. At the end of the day, I never got to get in the game. And I hated it. I remember going back to my house, and I walked inside, and I was upset. I think I was 10 at the time, and I threw my baseball mitt on the kitchen floor, and I said, I quit. I hate baseball. And my ex-Marine father, and I learned there's no such thing as an ex-Marine, raised his left eyebrow and looked me square in the eye, and he poked his finger in my chest, and he said, I will not have a quitter as a son. When we sign up for something, we play till the season's over. If you think it's hard, we'll go out and practice, but we don't quit. The reason you didn't get in there is because all these kids have been playing for 2 or 3 years, and you're just starting. So every day after school, I'll go out with you, we'll hit the ball 15 minutes a day, I'll play catch with you, I'll throw grounders with you, I'll help you be good at it. And my dad made me memorize this. It was said first by Ralph Waldo Emerson. I heard it later at a church conference. Heber J. Grant quoted this saying. He said, "That which you persist in doing becomes easier to do. Not that the nature of the thing has changed, but your power to do has increased." And that has stayed with me my entire life, that whatever challenges me, whatever is really hard, if instead of quitting, I decide to make it a personal challenge and I persist at getting good at it, it becomes a strength instead of a weakness. And I never have to go back and say, I'm not good at that. And so whatever it is that's challenging you right now in your business, whatever it's challenging you in your life, I want you to lean into it. I want you to get and spend more time with it instead of avoiding it and become a master of that task. If you persist in being excellent at real estate, you can move from the below the line average to above the line exceptional by leaning into the things that challenge you the most. So I wish you the greatest amount of success in 2020. I hope to see you in Leverage in a couple weeks in Orlando, Florida, and look forward to speaking to you on our next webinar. Thanks everybody for being here. Bye now.